Hi everybody, in this video I want to talk about the obstacles to meditation, especially when you're a beginner. And this is also for people who are also, advanced in meditation as well. The obstacles of meditation are usually having a racing mind, you're stressed out to begin with, or perhaps you're already too emotional. So, those are three problems that come to when you go to meditate. Because people who practice meditation, when you go to meditate, it's like you want to solve something. You're already usually stressed out. You already have a crazy mind, crazy with thoughts and racing minds, 1,000 thoughts per second. You might be too emotional as well. So usually people who are into meditation are already in these states and they want to go into a peaceful state. When you're already in a happy mood, you're not really thinking oh, I'm gonna go meditate. Sometimes some people do, but usually people use meditation as a problem solver. They're already stressed out, they have thoughts racing through their head all day long and they're too emotional or whatever. So one of the biggest things that you could ever do for this, and this is to help create a peaceful mind for yourself, so that way you kind of prep your mind and you can prep your emotions for meditation, is you have to get rid of everything that's stressing you out to begin with. And so if we have, let's just say you're a person who has, you're stressed out and you have too many stressful thoughts, and this is kind of your mental atmosphere and your emotional atmosphere. This is what you are, and this is what you want to be, is peaceful and just having that going on. So, but it's hard to go from here to here just by sitting down and doing a breathing exercise or whatever. So even though breathing exercises do help, what would be best is if you can clear this out to begin with, you throw it out. Instead of having to deal with it when you sit down, instead of having to deal with it, throw it out and use a catharsis method, do a catharsis way to do it. So a catharsis is basically purging. It's it's a vomiting, I guess. Catharsis, you're throwing stuff out. So so instead of trying to just deal with this and calm this down, throw it out. And now there's an exercise that I do that helps this out, and it's actually speaking gibberish. And this is something that I teach in one of my courses, and I have a course that's an hour long. There's a 4-step process that teaches how to actually throw out your problems. So that way, when you go to sit down and meditate, you already have a clear, conscious mind that's already clear, and you're not dealing with all these other problems. And so, what a catharsis does is basically I learned this kind of there's a couple of different ways, and this is and when I took art classes, we would do a catharsis method, which I didn't really know that's what it was at the time, but this is what it was when I learned this gibberish technique. But we would do in art class this exercise where for 30 seconds we have to scribble on our piece of paper, and you just scribble for 30 seconds nonstop. And so what that does is it sounds like a stupid exercise, but when you actually sit there and you scribble, and you do it for 5 seconds, you start getting tired of it, and then you keep scribbling, and then when you say if you get angry that you have to keep doing this for 10 more seconds or whatever, and that kind of shows in your marks, and so it's kind of an exercise that kind of gets your emotions out. So, and it also releases a lot of the tensions, your nervousness of say the pressure of actually drawing something. So but if your intention is to actually scribble something, your whole thought process of and being stressed out on having to actually draw something that looks nice, you're scribbling, so it kind of throws it all out. So so that's an art way to do it. And so I'm just saying there's more than one way to do it. If you're in the art, you can do it this way, but if you're not in the art, you can speak gibberish. And so what gibberish means is you speak gibberish, and it kind of cuts out the architect of your mind that actually articulates your words and stuff like that. So right now I have lots of thoughts and feelings because I want to express I want to be able to give out the best value to you guys, but I also want to express all my ideas, so that way I kind of cover everyone's questions all in one video. So if I ever get scattered, it's because I want to make sure I get everyone's questions in mind, because I overthink things. So I kind of know if I have 1 million people watching this video, there might be 1,000 different questions, and I kind of want to answer everything. So, but anyways, to keep every video short and simple, what I want to do is to help you get rid of all this mess. What you do is speak gibberish. And so, like I said, speaking gibberish just is nonsense. And so it's all it is. Just say something other than real words. And so however you speak gibberish will sound different to you. And this is a really weird technique, and it's kind of you want to do this by yourself because it might be embarrassing. Because if you start speaking gibberish and like you start yelling or whatever, like then you don't want to be in front of people. So like I can see why this wouldn't really work in like a meditation class if you're in yoga class or or whatever. But or like a seminar teaching this. So but anyways, if you're at home, you're gonna want to do this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be at home. So what you can do right now is just speak gibberish. So right now, like as you are, just like start speaking gibberish, which means just say anything other than like your native language. Say anything other than a real word. So like to me it'd be like like da 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 da, and I did that for 5 seconds. But let's just say if I did that for a full minute, if I'm not going to draw this out for a full minute for you guys, but like as you keep going on, you dig into it, and when you're by yourself, if you feel self-conscious about like speaking gibberish, you're going to gibberish out sounds that will express that self-conscious out, so you get rid of it, you get rid of your self-conscious, and then like your self-consciousness. And so then like that might be an emotion or a thought you have for like 1 second, and then like in second after 20 seconds of speaking gibberish, you might start thinking about all the stressful things you have to do that day. So then you might start yelling and screaming because you're actually kind of mad that you don't want to, go do those things, like go to the post office, go do groceries, or pick up the kids, or whatever your errands might be. You might start thinking about them while you're speaking gibberish, and so you start letting out all that anger that you're holding on to. That even though it's just a little bit of anger, you let it out. And so you see what I'm trying to say is like you start letting it out, and then like say like after you do gibberish for 30 seconds, your thought process moves on to another thought, because you don't ever stick on to one thought, any given second of the day. But it's just basically like, then you might start thinking about something else, and then you start speaking gibberish in another way, but what you do is like when you speak gibberish, it clears out, every time you speak gibberish, it kind of clears everything out. So it just like everything gets expressed. And then as soon as you speak your gibberish, you're no longer going to have like all this, crazy stress in your heart and your emotions, but you might be like more like this. You may not be completely level like in a meditative state, but actually getting your mind clearer to when it wants like this. If you can get your mind just a little more cleaner before you go practice meditation, then you actually sit down and actually have a better meditative state. So that's one of the biggest things I could ever teach you when it comes to meditation, because like I practiced meditation for 5 years before I discovered like this gibberish technique, and it's like that was a long time ago, and this helped me tremendously. So if you can speak gibberish, if you're into art, you can maybe do the scribble technique that I showed you earlier, but speaking gibberish will work for anyone and everyone, like no matter what language you are or whatever you speak. Like just speak gibberish, like which means like just speak something that's not like a real word to you. So just speak gibberish, and like that lets out the sensor that's in your brain that holds on to like certain thoughts and feelings, but speaking gibberish allows everything to be expressed to be like 100%, so you express it out. So do this before your next meditative session. Like if you practice meditation every day, speak a gibberish for like 30 seconds or even a minute, and then that'll actually help clear your mind out, and then go on to do your regular technique, whether you do breathing or watchfulness or whatever might be your meditative technique. You can do this before that. So give this gibberish technique a try. And like again, I have a course that has a 4-step process, which will have you completely more relaxed than you've ever been in your entire life. And like this course is only an hour long, but there's 4 steps to it. The gibberish technique is just the second step in it. So like there's a couple other techniques that like will completely have you fully relaxed. So if you have like stress issues or anger issues, or or maybe you just have like racing thoughts, or whatever, you have a busy mind. So whatever your issue may be, everyone who lives in the modern society has them. You might be too emotional, your emotions might run you all day long, your thoughts might run your day all day long. So meditation will definitely help you out with that. So but in my course will help you out with that too. So it's a very short course, it's very effective. So like I said, it's a 4-step process. Speaking gibberish is just one of the steps. So if you think gibberish is very helpful, I highly suggest getting my course, so that way you can get all 3 steps. But for now, if you're a regular meditative practice person, just do the gibberish technique right now, and do your regular meditative technique and see how you feel. And remember to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you like this information, and let's continue to meditate. I'm going to teach you more stuff on meditation as well. So subscribe and tune in to next week and next maybe tomorrow's video as well. All right, talk to you soon.